I have a huge stack, 44 to be exact, of books that I am going to haul for you. So in this haul, I have a combination of library books. I am a very, very frequent library user, and I wanted to start highlighting that even more on my channel. Then I have a birthday book haul. My birthday is on May 20th, so I had some very kind people give me some books for my birthday. Then I have a stack of used books that I have acquired over the last 3 months. I have some book box books and then a couple that I just bought brand new for various reasons. I am going to start with the books that were gifted to me because I'm so thankful to have these all sent to me. So I am going to start with my birthday book haul. The first one is from Holly. Holly is wonderful. She is part of my Patreon, and she very kindly sent me 3 John Mars books. John Mars wrote my favorite book of last year, and I'm so excited to read more of his stuff. I have previously read the one, but really needed a copy for my shelves. And The Vacation was republished the end of last year, and then The Stranger in Her House is his most recent psychological thriller. I have plans to read The Stranger in Her House very soon, and then I will be reading The Vacation over the summer with my Patreon. There's read-alongs in one of my tiers, and we are reading 3 of his books in 3 months over the summer. So I'm so glad to own all of these. Next up, from Monica, from A Little Bit of Monica. She very kindly got me these 2 books. They are the second and third books in the Centennials of the Galaxy trilogy. I have read and loved the first 2, but here's the thing. I hate the US covers with a passion. Here's what the first one looks like. This font makes me angry. I hate it. The rest of it is fine, whatever. But compared to this, no. So I have been talking for so long to Monica about how I desperately want the Australian covers. This author is actually local to her, and they had these 2 in her store, but they're really hard to get. So she got me these, and they are signed and personalized, which is so cool. I'm really happy to own 2 of the 3, so now it'll just be easier to just have to get one. I am planning on doing a sequels vlog soon. I don't read a lot of series, but the ones that I have read, I don't keep up with them, so I want to do a video with that. So I'm hoping to get to the last one in this trilogy in that. But this is a YA sci-fi series, and I really love it. I think it's so much fun. And these covers, so good. Next, from Katrina Brown, I have The Cotton Candy Massacre. This is a horror slasher, and I just read this in a video that I will have linked for you where I read Booktuber's favorites, and this was one of my favorites in the video. There's a spoiler for you. This one is so much fun, and I'm so excited to have a copy of this for my shelves. Next up, from Tiara, I have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Such a long title. Tiara also has a channel as well. This has been one of my favorite reads of this year. It is, I think, my favorite cozy mystery that I've read. It's so much fun. It's such a good time. It's very cute, and I really loved it, so I'm so happy to have a copy for my shelves. From my friend Maria, from Maria Might Read That, I have Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna McGuire. This is the most recent in this series of Portal Fantasy books. It's number, I don't know, 9, but Maria was at a Polycon recently, which I didn't go to, but it was near me, so I got to hang out with everybody, and we went to a dinosaur-themed escape room. So she was like, it's very fitting to pick a dinosaur book, and it's just like so thoughtful, very cute. And then the last book actually was not for my birthday, but it is from Live with Books. It's this very nice note thanking me for running Escape the Readathon. It's the fact that I don't take compliments well, like, that's so nice. So I really appreciate that. And Stephen Graham Jones has written some of my favorite books, so I'm so excited to get to this one. So thank you so much to everybody who sent me a book. It is so kind. It is never necessary, but very much appreciated. And then I have one more book that was sent to me. This was sent to me by the publisher. Is this an ARC? I don't think so. I think this is a finished copy, and that is The Father She Went to Find by Carter Wilson. This came out very recently, and it is from Poison Pen Press. This author writes a lot of standalone psychological thrillers, which I love. Also, this is not related to the book, but does this look like Jeanette McCurdy to anybody but me? Every time I see it, I'm like, that looks like Jeanette McCurdy. Is it the bangs and the hair color? Does it actually look like her? Is it Jeanette McCurdy? Anyway, this one sounds really interesting. A road trip to find closure or a reckless chase that could turn deadly. I love psychological thrillers, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Next, I'm going to talk to you about my library books. I think all of these are planned for upcoming videos, so be on the lookout for those. I'm just going to run through these ones pretty quickly, and I'll tell you the genre of them. Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier. This is a dark thriller. Intercepts by TJ Payne, a horror novel. Island Witch by Amanda Giatissa. This is a thriller. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is this YA? I don't know, but it's fantasy. Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. This is sci-fi horror. I picked this one up for Kitty from Spicy Cats Reads Book Club. The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy. I believe this is a thriller. I don't know if it has any sort of sci-fi stuff in it. Oh, it's a crime book. It's genre bending and there's thrilling and I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I don't know what genre it is. Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. I have a question. Somebody, please, please, please. Every time I ask this, nobody has an answer for me. If you have read Loot and Diavola, both of them, if I thought Loot was boring, do you think I'll like this? Please somebody tell me. Because if I'm gonna hate this, do I want to read it? So if you know, please tell me. Thank you. The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This is fantasy. Walking Practice by Dolki Min. I don't really know what genre this is. I think it's kind of sci-fi, kind of horror, kind of maybe literary fiction, but it sounds very interesting, so I grabbed it, even though I don't really know anything about it. The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is, I almost said a library book. It is a library book, but it's also horror. And the last one I have is Theme Music by T. Marie Vandelli, and this is a psychological thriller. So those are all the library books I currently have in my possession. I actually just dropped some off at the library today when I picked up some more. I'm always rotating library books. I love my library, both the physical library and the digital library. Incredible. If you don't have a library card, you should sign up for one. Next, we are going to move on to books that I bought. I'm going to start with my stack of used books. The first one I have is The Vegetarian. I think this is like a little weird horror literary book. Oh. I like weird books, and this is Elizabeth from Reading Riley's book club. I'm not co-hosting this month, but I am co-hosting next month. I'll have her video linked. Very excited for that. This book, I don't know if I'm ever going to read it, to be quite honest with you, but I dropped off a bunch of books at little free libraries, and there was one that I was like, you know, I might as well get this book for free. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. That's all I'm going to say about this book. I'm scared of fairies. Next, I have Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. I read this and really enjoyed it and wanted a copy for my shelves. This is a historical horror. The Eyes of Tambura by Maria V. Snyder. This is also the Australian cover of one of her books. I found this at a used bookstore. This is a desert fantasy book, I believe. I don't know. I'm scared of this one. I really like her sci-fi stuff that I've read, so I am interested in giving her fantasy stuff a go. Oh, I forgot that I had one of Mel's Patreon bookmarks in here. Next up, I have Abandon by Blake Crouch. This is the original print of it. A lot of his books are being reprinted now. They were initially like self-published with, I think it's Amazon's self-publish company. I don't really know how that works. But the copies that I own of Pines are that same edition, so I thought it was cool to be able to grab this one. This is a thriller, maybe horror, but I tend to really love Blake Crouch. Then I have Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. I just read this in the video reading booktuber favorites that will already be linked for you, but this is a kind of literary mystery. And lastly, The Return by Rachel Harrison. I talked earlier about doing the Patreon read-alongs, so in July, August, and September, we're doing John Mars, and then in October, November, and December, we are doing Rachel Harrison. We're reading her new book, this one, and then one of her other ones. So I saw a pretty cheap copy of this on Pango, so I grabbed it, so I had it for later this year. So those are all of my used books that I got. I have a couple new books that I just like bought. I have a couple new books that I got like at full price, so I'm going to show you those, and then I have my book box books. So the first one is Alice in Borderland Volume 9. This is the last volume in this series. It is, am I holding it upside down again? No, actually I'm not. This is manga. It is a blend of genres, primarily like a thriller and horror, and it is incredible, and I love it, and you should read it. And then I recently went to a book festival and I got 2 books while I was there because the authors were there. I got Nowhere Like Home by Sarah Shepard. This is the author of Pretty Little Liars, which I loved as a teenager. I haven't read any of her recent stuff. I didn't even realize that she had other thrillers out, but I decided to get this because it sounds pretty decent. And then the other one that I got at the book festival was A Step Past Darkness by Vera Kurian. This is also signed, and this is another thriller. And I read Never Saw Me Coming by this author, and it wasn't super popular, but I actually really enjoyed it. And this one sounds really good. 6 Classmates, One Terrifying Night, A Murder 20 Years in the Making. Sold. So I bought a copy. And then to the book boxes. So I have 2 special editions, and then the rest are from Aardvark and Book of the Month. I'm going to start with the special editions. The first one I have is from Evernight, which is an Illumicrate box, and that is Murder Road by Simone St. James. Honestly, I don't really love this. I don't think it fits the vibe of the book. I don't know. This specifically looks like a romance book to me. It's really not my favorite, but I also am not a fan of pink. I don't know. If it was blue, I'd probably like it more because that matches at least the original cover, but I don't know. I have this book. I thought the book was fine. I don't know. It is definitely not my favorite that Evernight has done, but I have it. And then the other one, I'm obsessed with it. So I did not get onto even the waitlist for this, but my very, very kind friend Mel did get onto the waitlist, and I was like, will you buy them and then I will pay you for them? Because she wasn't interested. So I don't know what the book box is called, but Broken Binding has just started a sci-fi box. I don't know, it might just be called Broken Binding Sci-Fi. And they're doing Andy Weir books for their first 3. Here's the thing. The Martian and Project Hail Mary are 2 of my favorite books. Artemis in my brain does not exist. I don't like that book. But I guess I'll have a copy of it because I can't skip just that one. So the first one that they did was The Martian. I am so obsessed with this. Look at these edges. Are you kidding me? The top and bottom are just black, but there is this art along the outside, and then in here on the front and back is the same end pages. I believe this is signed. Yes. And then this is the naked book. And I'm just so obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with this book. I'm obsessed with this edition. I am so glad to have it. It is incredible. It's the best. So thank you again to Mel for getting this and then letting me buy it from you, I guess. I very much appreciate it, and I'm obsessed with this. Next up, I have my books from Aardvark Book Club. This is a newer subscription, and I tend to get a lot of thrillers from them, so not all of these are thrillers. But the first one is, and that is You Know What You Did by N.T. Nguyen. This author was actually at that book festival that I went to, but I already owned this, so I have it signed. This is a psychological thriller with some horror elements in it. She asked if I read horror, and I was like, absolutely. So that's exciting because I didn't realize there was horror in this. The next one I got is a sci-fi thriller, and that is Baby X by Kira Peikoff. I don't really know anything about this, but it has something to do with DNA and creating children and stuff like that. So this sounds very much up my alley. Next, I have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is the one rom-com author that I will for sure be reading all of her stuff, and she wrote a paranormal romance, so I read it. This was not my favorite from her, but I guess collect her books now, so I own this. And then the last one is The Clinic by Kate Quinn. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like it had some different, more like clinical takes to it, which like isn't everybody's favorite thing, but I like sci-fi, so it makes sense. This is a psychological thriller set in a rehab clinic. And then I have my Book of the Month books. So I have 2 accounts, and my birthday is in May. My other account's birthday is in March, but whatever. So you get free birthday books, and then also they had the free Book of the Year thing that now is happening in March. So 3 of these I did not pay for Technically, I probably did, but it's fine. So I have The Lies We Told by Camilla Way. This is an older thriller and probably one of the only older thrillers that I'm interested in reading. I think this one has some horror elements, and I've heard people reading it recently that I have similar tastes to that liked it, so I think that I would like it as well. The Return of Ellie Black by Amiko Jean. I think this one is a little bit more of a mystery, but I've heard really good things about it. I know my friend Michelle liked it. Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I read this also for my booktuber favorites video because of Riley from Riley Marie. This one went surprisingly better than I expected, like by a significant amount. This is a dark rom-com. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. This is a psychological thriller. I really enjoyed this one. I read this in a video where I asked for 5-star predictions from you. So I put up an Instagram story and a community post asking for books that you thought I would give 5 stars. So I read this for that. Went pretty well. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is the only one of her like feminist rom-coms that I have not read, and I've really loved the other ones, so I added this to my shelves. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I read Part of Your World and I really enjoyed it. Not to the extent of some other people, but I've heard incredible things about this one. It won the book of the year, so I got this edition and I figured I would give it a go. And last but not least, I got Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is a podcast thriller. I truly cannot hold up all of these books. There's too many, but I would love to know your thoughts on any of them if you have read them. If you've made it to the end and want to leave me an emoji to say you were here, you can leave me some sort of headphone emoji for Listen for the Lie. Here's some videos that you might be interested in that I have done recently, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.